Welcome back to the Tydarium Hangar. Happy Friday, everybody. This is Mike. Today I want to talk to you about selling. Now, this is going to be talking about selling pretty much anything that you sell, but I'm going to specifically target some of these Masterpiece Transformers, and coming from a perspective of Masterpiece Transformers, it can be related to anything. You want to sell a toaster, or you want to sell a video game, or something like that. You can use all of these concepts in there, but I'm going to talk about selling. I've been wanting to talk about this for a while, and I also want to update my eBay red flags video because there's a lot more pertinent information to put into that video, but I'm not going to do that in this video. This one's just going to be basic selling tips. Coming up. All right, so my first tip when it comes to selling, specifically Masterpiece Transformers, but anything that you sell, would be that you want to make sure that you find what you want to sell. What do you want to sell? You look around, kind of go through your collection, go through your stuff, and figure out what specifically do you want to sell. Now that may sound kind of simple, rudimentary, that's basic, yeah, duh, right? But there's a couple things to talk about. The first concept I really want you to understand is that if you sell something, you may not be able to buy it back for the same price that you sold it for. Even if you bought it back for the same price you sold it for, you're going to have a loss. Probably a significant loss. If you sell it for $100, you're definitely not selling this for $100, and you're definitely not buying this for $100. Make Toys should bring this contact shot back. But let's do a quick example. If you sold something for $100 and then bought it back for $100. All right, so this is what $100 looks like, sort of, roughly. And if you were to sell an item for $100, and let's just say you did charge the additional amount of shipping and you were exactly right for your shipping, you end up with $86. So $86 is what you'd end up with if you sold it on eBay. Even less if you sold it on Mercari. I understand that they have even higher fees than eBay. And then if you sell it in other ways, which we are going to talk about, Facebook and those kinds of things, other selling options at the end of this. But the most common is eBay. So you'd walk away with $86. Hopefully, if everything worked out, everything went okay, you got $86 on your $100 item. Now, if you go to buy a $100 item back, you're going to end up paying close to $120 after shipping and sales tax. So you got to think here, that's a swing of about $34, something along those lines. So that is a massive swing. So if you are selling something that you want back, you got to understand you probably will not get it back for the same price that you get out of selling it today. So that kind of brings us into establishing a value for an item that you're going to sell. Now I'm going to talk about this X-Translots Aegis because the Fans Toys one recently came out. Now the Fans Toys one that recently came out, I do believe it's a better figure. Now there's things I don't like about it that I like better on this one, but we're not going to get into that in this video. Let's say you get the Fans Toys one, it feels solid, you like the look of it, and you want to get rid of your X-Translots Aegis. Guess what? You're thinking the same thing that hundreds of other people are doing right now. Maybe they just haven't got around to listing it. There's only 46 on eBay, but we've had some sell. So looking at this, there's two things you need to look at. First off, you need to look at completed. Completed on eBay is still the standard. There's no price guide out there, so it's a standard for setting prices. If you're in any other avenue, such as Facebook or any other thing, a second-hand shop, if you're at a flea market or you're anywhere, those people are looking at eBay completeds to figure out how much to price their stuff. As you can see right here, none of these have sold. None of these have sold, except one down at 85. Somebody accepted the best offer. Was it 70? Was it 60? Was it 80? You don't really know. You used to get to know, but eBay doesn't give you that information anymore. Every bit as relevant as completed is what's currently on the market. What are people asking right now? If you are a buyer, so you have to look at it. If you're a seller, you have to look at it from a buyer's standpoint. I'm looking at these and I think I can get this one for 70 plus 16 shipping. Oh, maybe I'll wait and I'll bid on this one here because I don't need a box that's at 30. And then you look down at the bottom, it's like, well, I could buy it now for 102. But these are things that the buyers are looking at, so you got to look at it from a buyer's viewpoint and price it to where it makes sense. So if you want to sell it fast, you need to sell it below all these other ones at a lower price than all these other ones. So on my suggestion on something like this, when a hot new item comes out and the replacement item that you have you want to sell, I suggest you hold on to it, find something else to sell. Or take a huge loss, $50, $60, $70 loss. This was $130 not too long ago. So next, kind of decide where you want to sell your items, like eBay and Mercari, Facebook, through the marketplace. There's also OfferUp and Let Go and whatnot. I don't know much about this whatnot. but it's a different way of doing things, and I don't think it's really all that easy, but it's different, so maybe it's going to catch on. I don't know. So right now, eBay is the #1 place to sell. It is still the largest marketplace for everything, and they will be for a while. And their fees have gone up since, of course, they did the managed payment program and all that kind of stuff. So they've kind of eliminated PayPal. They've severed from PayPal. And so that was kind of a rough transition, but I guess they've figured all of that out now. So with that, eBay is still the top place. But, you could try other ones out, like Mercari and all that kind of stuff, and you might want to do multiples for a couple of reasons I might talk about here in a bit. But, yeah, eBay is probably #1. Now, eBay, you're going to have millions of users, if not a billion users. You're also looking at Mercari is smaller. So Mercari is much, much smaller, but you could still find deals on there. But I don't see sellers selling stuff for high prices. I think that you still get a much higher price on eBay because there's more eyeballs looking at it. But then again, if you have something that's really rare, it doesn't really matter where you sell it. And if it's a hot item, you can usually get a good price out of it anywhere. Now, selling on Facebook, I got a few things to say about this. #1, the groups are a place that you can find a lot of like-minded people that are looking for the kind of stuff that you're selling. So it's a way to filter through a whole lot and get right to the core audience. But then again, you've only got, at best, maybe 100,000 people in one group. And so when you start looking at it like that, it's a lot easier for eBay when it comes to more eyeballs on it. But then there's a lot of people that are in Facebook groups that don't want to buy on eBay, and people don't look at eBay every day and weren't even thinking about buying what you're selling, but they look at Facebook and then boom, your item pops up, so they buy it. That's kind of a different type of psychology than what goes on eBay. So maybe you want to have a multifaceted approach. The other thing about Facebook is I've seen a lot of sellers asking higher than eBay prices. Blows my mind. I don't understand it. They're getting 10% less of a fee, but yet they ask way more than eBay. The other thing that I'm seeing is that a lot of people in the groups expect to get stuff way cheaper. Not 10% cheaper, 15%, like half of what its true value is, a market value is. And I see that a lot in the groups, and that's been a trend for a long time. And it's understandable to expect to get a little bit better deal dealing with somebody one-on-one instead of through eBay or something like that. But half? Next thing is, you got to be reasonable. This day and age. And I suggest accepting offers from people, and the reason for that is because of the fact that if your item is competing with 100 other items, then how are you going to stand out? You'll accept a little bit lower price. That's what happens at the end of the day. People are looking for the best deal, and let them feel like they get a better deal. Maybe you price yours a little higher so that they can negotiate down, but I think a straightforward approach when it comes to selling your items, and I want 130 for this, but if you offer me 120, I guess I'll go ahead and take a loss on it just to get rid of it so I can buy something that I really want. You have to understand, these are hard times. 2020, 2021 had all that free money falling from the sky, and that free money has stopped, dried up, turned into inflation. Literally everybody's bills have gone up, whether it's energy, electricity, the rent. If you don't own your home, your rent's skyrocketing. If you own your home, you're going to see an increase in property tax. You're going to see a massive increase in your insurance, because of the short-term, overly inflated building materials. So there's a lot of stuff to look at and consider and think. So this is not 2020, it's not 2021. You're going to have to cut some deals if you want to sell something. Next up, we got to talk about shipping. And when we talk about shipping, something about eBay I want to point out to everybody. And I assume if eBay does it, then some of the other ones do it too. So when you sell something on eBay, and let's say you sell for $100, and then you ask $20 shipping, they will charge sales tax to the buyer for the item, but they will not charge sales tax on the shipping cost. If you put your item up for $120, free shipping, knowing very well you have to pay $20 to ship that item, then they're going to get charged sales tax on the whole $120, the buyer. That may not sound like a big deal. Just like, oh, you're having to spend an extra couple of bucks because of the shipping. But when you start looking at $500 items and $600 items and $50 and $60 shipping, that turns into a big deal. So think about that. The free shipping is never really free. Free shipping is factored in, and eBay charges sales tax, because they're required to, on the total amount if you say free shipping. So break that up. I think that's a good idea. I think it's good to break that up. But let's get into some more shipping ideas. I know for a fact that PayPal and eBay both offer shipping discounts. So anywhere between 50 to 60% of the normal price. So let's say the shipping cost would be $33. You might get it for 20 or 18 through eBay or PayPal, because they've worked out an arrangement, because they do so much volume, and they've worked that out with the post office. So you're getting a deal. Now you walk in to the post office and you handwrite out the address, and then they put a label on it. They're going to charge you the full $33 to ship your item. Now, if you're shipping bigger items, I suggest not to use the post office. So UPS and FedEx are much better when it comes to bigger packages. They are set up for bigger packages. They have bigger vehicles. That is their business. When it comes to the post office, they are better for letters and small packages, specifically less than a pound. So you ship them first class. That's a really good deal. It's astonishing how much cheaper UPS and FedEx, their prices are when it comes to it. And I find that I hear a lot of people say FedEx drivers like to drop kick your stuff and punt it across the room and all this stuff. They're going to mess your product up. I have not witnessed that. I have not witnessed UPS or FedEx boxes coming in any worse shape than from the post office. And with that, it's on you to pack it right. It's on you to make sure it's packed, to make it through a whole different multiple sets of circumstances. So you need to pack it well, and it'll be fine with UPS and FedEx. I don't see that any of this stuff arrives completely destroyed. I've seen pictures online, but I think that is a very small number, a fraction of a percentage. Lastly, I got to talk about, if you sell more than $600, you're going to get 1099K. This is just kind of a blank one, of form one I found. But here's the thing. This is just phase one in a long-term plan that I think they just figured out with the technology and all that they can actually realize this plan that's been going on for decades. But the 1099K used to be that you didn't get this until you paid or earned $20,000 worth of sales. So it's not even profit, it's just sales. You sold $20,000 worth of stuff, or you were setting out and Uber drive and all that kind of stuff. So with that, they've changed the policy now to where it's $600. I've already made a video talking about that, but this is phase one. This one here is phase one. Phase two is this whole building up the IRS. They built up the IRS. They added an extra $82 billion to the IRS so that they can have a lot more people in this army of IRS to target people making this type of income. Uber drivers, single moms selling stuff out of their closet to pay their electric bill during an energy crisis, and all of this stuff. And it doesn't make any sense because they only plan to make $200 billion over the course of the next 10 years, but they just paid $82 billion to beef up the IRS, and it's going to cost them, by the time it's all over, $300 billion to recoup $200 billion. None of this makes sense. None of it makes sense. But phase three is coming. Phase three is switching to a digital currency, which is something that they've been trying to do for a while, and it's probably going to happen sooner than later. So what does that mean for you? It takes away another avenue that you have to sell your stuff, but it's going to be a while. It's not going to happen tomorrow. So I suggest if you're selling and you have the opportunity to do this, you make cash transactions. So use Facebook or whatever and try to meet up with somebody face to face so that you can do this. So when it comes to this, avoiding all this mess, if you do a cash transaction, technically you're supposed to report it. But if you're selling something to somebody, another collector, fellow collector, for what you paid for or less, I don't see the point. But I'm gonna say you're supposed to report anything you sell, even if it's in cash, and even if it's less than you paid, you're supposed to report it. Now you get into some sticky situations, like if you declare everything that you sell as a loss. Can you do that more than 3 years in a row? No. Yes. Is there a way around that? You need to seek professional help. See, I'm not going to sit here and tell you what you can and cannot deduct, but I'm going to tell you I've heard a lot of stuff. I've heard some people, they deduct their mileage when they're out on some road trips, when they're out toy hunting. They deduct their mileage, they deduct their meals, they deduct their home office business expense. And especially if you're like me, I'm on YouTube, I can deduct all that stuff if I want to. I actually don't take advantage of all of that because I know what's going to happen. They're targeting people like me. So I am very careful and dot every I, cross every T, but I suggest you seek help if you sell more than $600. So I hope you enjoy these selling tips. I hope I didn't go too negative there for a bit, but it's reality, man. It's reality, and it's the world that we live in. We have to figure out how to survive in this and help each other out. I don't know why more YouTubers don't talk about the 1099K thing, especially because they all deal with it to a much higher degree than I do. But hey, I guess they just, I'm here for the community, and I hope you enjoy this video. Like and subscribe. Happy Friday. Deer Hanger out.